Good morning, everybody. I call this meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. We will proceed with roll call with Mr. Secretary Ricardo Lopez.
Good morning, everybody. Staff senators, I will now call a roll. Please either state aye or type it into the chat once I call your name. Antonio Alvarez, Armando Ponce, Blanca Devila, Karina Alcantara, Carlos Ayala.
Aye.
Okay. Edel Garza, Edna Munoz, Liz Reyes, Estela de la Garza, Francine Perez, Graciela Abrego, Jake Gonzalez, Jeanette Garcia, Juan Pablo Calderon, Crystal Marroquin,
Aye.
Leslie Orozco Zarate, Manuel Vidal,
Aye.
Matthew Lerma, Matthew Monques,
Aye.
Mauro Uriegas, Mario Garcia, Milagros Gilmora, Nicholas Swanson,
Aye.
Ofelia Jimenez, Omar Nedzelski, Ruby Sands,
Aye.
Santiago Martinez, Stephanie Trujillo,
Aye.
Victoria Lozano, Yesenia Carter, and Maria Perez. Mr. President, quorum has been established.
Thank you, Ricardo. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our Staff Senate Journal meeting for November 2025. It is wonderful to have you all here with us this morning. We will begin our meeting with new business. Is there a motion to approve the October 2025 meeting minutes?
I move to approve the minutes for October 2025.
Is there a second?
I second.
I second.
All those in favor, please state aye in the Teams chat. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. The October 2025 meeting minutes have been approved. We'll now move on to our guest speakers for today's meeting. First, we have Ms. Demas. Ms. Demas, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. You can go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
Okay, and I'll be able to share my screen?
Correct. Mhm.
Okay. Let me do that. Okay. There you go. Can you see my presentation here?
Yes.
You can. Okay, good. Well, good morning. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, everyone. Staff senators, I appreciate you all inviting me. Invitation that I kind of asked to be a part of. So, and it was nice to meet you, Jake, in person. I think it's important that we all get to see each other on campus or at events. So it was great to see you. My presentation's very slow. I mean, not slow, very short today. I do want to go slow enough so that everyone can kind of follow and feel free to interject and ask questions. But I did leave some space or time for some Q&A. Sometimes after these presentations, I have a lot of questions, and then sometimes there are no questions. So I don't know which is better, but we'll see what happens after this. And so I wanted to start off with my contact information. So my name again, Lisa Dimas, and my email and my phone number are on here in case you want to ask me something offline, or you have some concerns, or you have something to report to us, then you would want to reach out to me directly. So I like to kind of get started usually when I do these in person, just to kind of get a feel for who knows about the Clery Act. I know it's kind of hard today because we're on, little squares on a screen here, but if I could ask you just to raise your hand, we don't have to use the Teams chat, but just raising your hand by telling me if you do, or you could use the Teams little hands. I forget about those. If you've heard of the Clery Act. So I see hands going up, which is great. I always like to see that. If you don't, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. It's my job to make sure that we're aware of what the Clery Act is about and how institutions are required to meet this federal law. So essentially what happened is back in the 80s, there was a student, her name was Jean Cleary. And so tragically, she was raped and murdered in her dorm room on campus at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. So after that, actually her killer was another student. So it was another student on campus that was going into dorm rooms and vandalizing and committing burglaries, and happened to see Jean Cleary in her dorm room, and tragically committed the crime of rape and murdering her in her own dorm. And so obviously that is such a tragic incident. And at the time, there was not a lot of legislation that required universities to disclose crime statistics, to publish any safety reports, or essentially have that transparency with their campus community. And so her family fought for legislation to change, and the Jean Cleary Act was signed in 1990. And so in short, we call it the Clery Act, and named after Jean Cleary. So there's a picture of her here. I always like to put that in there. So it's a real story that, had some real big impact, and that still does today. And so the newest thing, after a couple, I would say about for the last 13 years, we had not had any additions to the Clery Act. And the very newest addition is related to hazing. So throughout the years, the Clery Act has added more and more to it. And that new addition is related to hazing, and that was signed in December of last year, and essentially is to stop campus hazing and to provide that awareness and the training on how to report. So it's now considered what we call a Clery crime, and I'll get into that in a couple minutes. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm stating all the Clery Act requirements. So this federal law requires institutions to publish and distribute an annual safety report. We have to do this every year by October 1st. So a couple weeks ago, you received it in your email. The campus police email comes out and distributes that. So that goes to all students, staff, and faculty. And another thing related to the safety report is crime statistics. And so we disclose our crime statistics in the safety report, and we also disclose them in a portal that we have to publish, or that we have to submit to the Department of Ed. And so another requirement is a daily crime and fire log. Fire log incidents are reported for any fires that have been reported at our housing. So this is only in on-campus housing. And daily crime log is only criminal incidents that happen in our jurisdiction. So on and off our campus, our PD has jurisdiction like you've probably seen them around town. They have they hold a different type of jurisdiction. So you might see some crime incidents that are not necessarily happening at our buildings, but we'll be in that crime block. Another thing you probably are familiar with is our timely warnings and emergency notifications. So timely warnings, again, you see them come out from our police department, and I guess it's a good thing, but we haven't seen one in a while. And so a timely warning is a notice to the campus community that something has happened and maybe is still in the process of investigation, but we want to let you know so that you're aware and that you're more vigilant to what's going on. Emergency notifications are when you'll see them come in through email, through text, through some, not phone calls anymore, but through, we try to reach out to you as much as we can, and that's shelter in place, essentially. So something's happening in real time, and we want you to know about it. So that's also a Clery Act requirement. And I wanted to state these so that you understand a little bit about the impact that this Clery law has on us. Now, why does it matter? Well, I touched a little bit about protecting the campus community. And so essentially, this is a consumer's report. And so our annual security report is available online. And not only is it available to all of our campus community, but it's also available to any prospective students, even prospective employees, prospective faculty. And so reading this safety report will give you a good idea of all the policies and procedures in place that all different types of departments take to keep a campus safe. And so with that, reducing the institutional risk, if the Department of Ed is the auditing force for the Clery Act, and so if they come to campus, and I always like to say, not if they come to campus, it's when they come to campus, because institutions will get audited. We just don't know when. The last audit that I know of at a UT institution was at UTSA, and that was a couple years ago. And that was a scope audit that I always like to mention because, it happens. It's something that we have to be ready for. And that's why I appreciate all the work that I do with all of your departments. And so essentially, any university that is getting federal funding is required to, so private or public, is required to meet the requirements for the Clery Act. Okay, and so one thing I wanted to mention, so that's kind of an overview of what Clery is all about and how it started. I wanted to take some time. It's most of you that are CSAs, or I hope all of you that are CSAs, know that you're a CSA. It's a term that's specifically related to the Clery Act, and it's called a campus security authority. And so there's 4 categories of a CSA. I wanted to talk about those today. I'm not going to go so deep into the CSA training because you receive those through your email or sometimes in person. But I wanted to give you an overview if you're of these 4 categories. If you're sitting at a police department and you're a police officer, you are automatically a campus security authority, and anybody that works for the police department. So that does include students. So if there's anyone sitting in our police department today and says, I don't think I'm a CSA, then I would appreciate you call me. Another type of individual that's considered a CSA is anyone with security responsibility. So outside the police officers and outside the staff that the police department.
Appointment to next Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. We have somebody talking on the back. And then we have that individual that may be responsible to granting access into our dorms or into parking or event staff. And so again, those individuals are also CSAs. And then we have another group, which are individuals designated to receive reports. Essentially, that's our Title IX office. They are we're all mandatory reporters, and we're all asked to report any sexual misconduct to their office. And so that's the type of individuals that are CSAs, anyone in their office or in student conduct. Officials with significant responsibility for students and campus activities. So this is the largest group of our CSAs, and probably the hardest to identify, because there are so many of us out there that are staff that we probably don't, not probably, but that our function could be related to students and campus activities. And so what my job is, working with HR and all of your divisions, is to identify who you are and then assign training to you. So I forgot to ask how long I have, but Jake, I can see you in my little squares there. So if you raise your hand, I know I need to wrap it up.
No,
Okay.
you're good. Yes,
All
no,
right.
you're good.
And so this is, and I have just a couple slides more. What CSAs must do, I kind of wanted to just provide an outline of what CSAs do. And they're so important in the work that I do, that I essentially have to be responsible for reporting crime statistics. And that's because some students might not always want to go to campus police, or might not always want to be talking to an officer or anyone in a uniform. And so they might be going to you. And so when they go to you, we need to report these back to the institution. And your Clery training or your CSA training will always tell you to report back to university police. They are 24/7. They will provide you all the guidance that you need, and essentially we'll build a report or write up a report that gets forwarded to my office, or that I am preview to. And so I wanted to make sure that you know the steps in that you take, and that we do it in a timely manner. So we don't need to investigate. We don't need to figure out if it really did happen, or ask more people. It's right away, contact university police. And as most of you know, they're a phone call away, or you can email them. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that you want to provide as much information as possible. And you also want to let your student, or whoever it is that's reporting to you a crime, that you cannot keep this in confidence. If you're a CSA, you need to be reporting it to the institution. And so I'll explain a little bit about what Clery crimes are. So the Clery Act has identified specific crimes. I don't know, I've never really understood why some crimes, actually I do understand. It's these crimes in specific are the more violent crimes. And so this is what we want to make you aware of. Obviously, your crime logs will make you aware of any criminal incidents that are happening on campus, but our crime statistics, so what we report to the Department of Ed, or what we publish in our annual safety report, is this list of crimes. And so I have an overview here. I also have a link that I can provide to you all with the Clery crime definitions, but I'll go through them super quick. So arson, motor vehicle theft, hate crimes, any dating violence, stalking, robberies, any incidents of domestic violence, or sexual offenses that include rape, fondling, incest, statutory rape, and aggravated assaults. I'm also missing here criminal homicide, so any murders or non-negligent murders, and burglaries. The last group there are liquor, drug, or weapon law violations. So those could be deemed referrals of any liquor violations, and drug violations or weapon violations on campus. The one highlighted in orange, as I mentioned earlier, is hazing. That's the brand new one related to the Clery Act. And so I kind of made that one stand out there. And so what I wanted to give you an overview, a super quick overview of what Clery Geography is about. And so essentially it's on campus. So where we're sitting today, the buildings that we own or control. So either we're owning this building or we're leasing this building. That's going to matter. And then at the
I
public
can't hear
property,
anything.
you can't hear me? Can you hear me, Jake?
Okay, there.
Yes. I think someone may have turned their mic on.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, yeah. You can
Public
continue.
property is anything, sidewalks, the streets that are adjacent to our campuses, and then non-campus is essentially anything that's almost a mile, that's a mile away, or within the jurisdiction of our campus police. And so I didn't want to go into so much detail because you could for Cleary and talking about Cleary geography, but I don't. The reason I don't is because it's important that you just, if you're getting something reported to you, I would rather you just report it. It's always best for us to do that determination if it's on our property or not, or if it's going to count or not for Cleary crime statistics.
Lisa, I think we've lost you.
She's there. She just got muted.
Are you able to unmute yourself?
There
we go.
That was weird. Okay. So this was just my last slide. I was just kind of going to mention, how I can support you, and in turn, you can support me too by helping me identify those CSAs. So if you're someone that I reach out to annually, it's important that we keep that connection with your office and my office, so we continue to identify those CSAs and then train CSAs. I also can provide any compliance trainings for CSAs in person. So if that's something you want to contact me about, I can do that as well. It's a little different from what I did today. And, at the end, or any other questions that you have related to your department and the work that you do. So we are meeting our requirements with the Clery Act and reducing that risk of non-compliance. So again, my phone number is on there. Thank you so much for the time. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. If anybody has any questions, you feel free to unmute yourself or state in the chat your question. Feel free to go ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Good
Hi, Ms.
morning.
Nicholas. In part of the presentation right now, you talked about timely warnings and the notifications that go out about incidents that happen on campus or near campus. I guess, like, as soon as you guys are informed of the situation, is that when the timely warning comes out?
So the police department assesses the reports. I don't sit at the police department. I probably should have explained that. I work for the division, or for Jason Hartley, who oversees PD, environmental health, and so I work closely with them. But they are the ones making the assessment of with the information that they're receiving, and they do contact me in their assessment, but they're not required to. So yeah, it's if something happened and they feel that it meets the criteria of meeting that, of sending that out.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Jason Hartley is our COO, so operations, facilities, and that's kind of like the org chart there.
Awesome. Any other questions? Okay. I don't see any, Lisa, or I don't hear anybody, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Pam. Okay. We'll see you.
Yes.
Well, I'm staying on, so I'll just mute now.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Awesome. And now we will go ahead with our next guest speaker, Estela de la Garza.
Good morning. Let me just get this. There we go. Perfect. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to share some campus resources today. I'm excited really to share two important tools that we use at UTRGV to support and strengthen our community engagement reporting, which are the Engagement Zone and the UTRGV and the Community Portal. Many of you may already know about the Engagement Zone, but I've found that when I ask about UTRGV and the Community Portal, many don't know. So I'm really happy to be able to share and just talk a little bit about them. So whether you're seeking volunteers, partnering with external organizations or community organizations, working with students, or just curious about how UTRGV connects with our region, these two platforms do really help us organize, report, and celebrate the work already happening on campus. So before I share more, let me just ask a quick question, just like Lisa did, right? How many of you already knew that UTRGV is nationally recognized for community engagement? Perfect. And so if you didn't know, that's okay. It's actually something that many institutions do struggle to communicate internally, even though it's a major point of pride. And so UTRGV earned the Carnegie Elective Classification for Community Engagement in 2020. And this recognition is based on a lot of evidence. It's not like an application essay or a nomination. It really does evaluate whether an institution is truly woven into the community in meaningful and reciprocal ways. And so just a little bit about Carnegie, right? In 2020, when we did receive that classification for community engagement, it is not an award. It's really an evidence-based recognition that demonstrate a deep commitment to collaboration with the communities that we serve. And so right now, currently, only 368 institutions in the U.S. currently hold the classification. And among the HSIs, only about 8% have earned it. And so we are actually only one of 7 Texas universities that hold the classification. So it's a pretty big deal. We do apply every few years. We previously used to apply every 5 years. We just submitted our application in April, and we'll be hearing back in December, and we'll be able to let everybody know how we did in January. So it's why we're tracking partnerships and engagement across the institution, why it's so important. And so this classification does tell like an external audience, funders, accreditors, peer institutions, and the public about UTRGV's relationship with the RGV and how it's ongoing, intentional, and mutually beneficial. So it also demonstrates that engagement isn't just an add-on activity that we do, that it's really part of our mission, our identity, and the culture as an institution that's rooted in service. So I want to pause and really connect what I'm sharing today to our larger mission at the university. And so you should recognize this image. It's in our strategic plan. And these, really show our institutional priorities. And it really illustrates how community engagement isn't a program. Yes, we have an Office of Community Engagement on campus, but community engagement is not separate on what we do across, the institution. We're not just one office that does all of the work. So it's listed here as a cross-cutting priority. And as you can see, I would even say it's a foundational to all of that we do. And you can see that in the image. And so it really does mean that it supports and strengthens everything that we do, from academics, student success, research, health initiatives, and campus life. And so whether you work directly with students, run programs, support operations, or maybe work behind the scenes, all of the work that you do really does matter. And so community engagement does belong to all of us across the institution. So when we track partnerships, really when we are organizing volunteer efforts, maybe helping students engage with the community, we're not just doing paperwork, right? We're really supporting a core or cross-cutting institutional commitment. And so your work, your partnerships, your collaborations, all of your programs really help hold up all of these pillars. If you did not already know, UTRGV does have an official volunteer platform, which is our engagement zone. Many of us use it, you know, from staff, faculty, students, our primary users. It really does allow us to recruit volunteers for our nonprofits in the community, even for offices on campus. It helps us track participation, helps students or any university user really find opportunities in the community. It also supports our service learning courses, so some of the community engaged learning courses on campus, and really partner with nonprofits. And so any department, any unit hosting an event that does need volunteers can utilize Engagement Zone. So right now, faculty, right, are using it for those service learning courses, and the entire university community really can browse through opportunities and serve on or off campus. And so even us as staff senators, right, we've been using the Engagement Zone for about a year now to sign up for opportunities that some of our campus partners are having. And so it's really a great way to even showcase what we as staff members, right, are doing. Currently, our primary user, of course, are our students. But I really do want to encourage you to kind of look through the Engagement Zone. You'll see that QR code that or the website. And kind of explore, like, what are some things, you know, maybe during our time off, our break, if we want to go with our families, friends, to go out and do some service, there's tons of opportunities. And, you know, when we really do talk about community engagement, you know, we aren't just talking about standard activities. We're really talking about measurable impact, as you can see here on this slide. So through Engagement Zone and our campus partnership reporting, we are able to put real numbers and outcomes behind the work that our faculty, staff, and students are already doing. And so, like you'll see here, last year UTRGV, right, in just general volunteers and service learning, right, has a nearly 1.89 million contribution in economic value based on our national volunteer rate. And so that includes volunteer hours, outreach events, service learning projects, and then other community support efforts. And then I really do want to emphasize that this number doesn't represent not even a fraction of all the community engagement happening. It's only the engagement that has been documented on Engagement Zone. And so the real impact is really, really, really much larger than that. And so I encourage you, right, as you're exploring Engagement Zone, you know, to keep that in mind, right, that we are reporting this, that we're sharing this. A lot of the times, right, it comes out on the president's report. And so while this graphic doesn't include all community hours for community, well, the Engagement Zone doesn't include all of the hours that are done in the community. We also have another reporting method, which we use, you know, by exporting and looking through courses, which are, right, our service learning, internships, clinical, and the practicum courses. You only see the total number of students here and the total number of community engaged courses. Think about, you know, internships, think about our clinicals and, you know, and the practicum courses, how many hours that our students are going out into the community, and then try to quantify that. So it will be way astronomically more than that 1.89 million, right? Right now, the only numbers I'm showing here is, right, those 7,600 students that are engaged in these type of practices. And that's just student, right? Student engagement. So really, you know, when you're thinking about how we're tracking that community engagement, it really helps us to tell the story of how UTRGV supports the region. And it really positions us to continue the work at even a greater scale. And so who can utilize Engagement Zone, right? Right now, we currently have our service learning courses. We have our student organizations are onboarded, and we're really motivating them to start using the Engagement Zone, right? Some departments are using Engagement Zone, our staff senate's using it, and then our community nonprofits. We have over 300 nonprofits on the platform. Many of them are very active users, and I can tell you that on a daily basis, our team is adding more opportunities and helping nonprofits add opportunities for our community to be able to address. And then along with tracking volunteerism, Really another important part of the work is documenting community partnerships across the university. And this is one place that, at least when I was looking through our application and, completing all of the questions, right? I always tell people that application ended up being 96 pages long to keep our community engagement classification. But one of the things that we're finding is that we're, again, just like on our service hours, our partnerships are underreported as well. So I know that many of you are already collaborating with schools, with nonprofits, with businesses, cities, health organizations, maybe even a community group through the work that you're doing. Reporting partnerships really does help us as a university to build an accurate inventory of how UTRGV works with the community. It really identifies where we already have strong partnerships. It reduces, maybe repeated outreach to the same organizations. You all have access to the UTRGV and the community portal. You can sign in, log in. Without even logging in, you can look at what's already reported. And then you can log in and actually begin reporting your partnerships, especially as it relates to community engagement. And so you can support that. It also supports collaboration between departments because you can see what everybody else is doing, demonstrate the shared commitment to the region. And just like that volunteer data, partnership reporting, like I mentioned earlier, is really, really essential to our Carnegie Community Engagement classification, to grant proposals, strategic planning, and really telling the story of UTRGV's impact. So I really, really strongly encourage you to take a look at both sides, the engagement zone, the reporting of partnerships. We just went through a whole update on the UTRGV and the community page, so you may have been seeing some notifications, We use Viva Engage, Messenger, and then just general emails, to kind of share about UTRGV and the community and the engagement zone. So if you're not already familiar, or if you are and you kind of forgot, please do help us. Like I mentioned, we just finished submitting that application, but we're going to be applying again, in 2029 to maintain our community engagement classification. So as many of you, are already reporting tons of things in your offices, this is just continuous, We're always continuously reporting. And even if you need help with reporting on, UTRG in the community and you really don't want to fill out the form, giving us a call or sending us an email is also great, and we can help you along the way. I know I have a couple of emails to respond to. So you can connect with us at partnerships@utrgv.edu. You can also just, give me a call. My number's there. And so thank you all so much for being here and for listening. So if there are any questions about any of that, I know it was quick. I'm glad to answer any.
Thank you, Estela. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes. We have one question, Estela, from Monica Espinosa.
Hey, Stella, I just had a quick question for you. For the health portion, if any of the students take the time to volunteer, do they get credit for their clinical hours and stuff like that if there was a big event that's happening?
Yeah, so already for courses specifically, when we're, if this is a particular course, most of the courses that will be on engagement zone are service learning, where there's a small scale type of service. Usually it's 10 to 30 hours of service that students are reporting there. And so our Engage Scholarship and Learning team on campus actually helps track that, and then they share that with us. But for clinicals, practicum, internships, those, since they're already reported on Banner, as a clinical course or internship or practicum course, we're able to pull that. What right now I'm working on quantifying is how much are the number, of hours that are being done in those particular courses, right now we had 735 for last academic year. And so that would be the way we would track that reporting. They wouldn't need to do that on the engagement zone. However, there could be potential where they do see a health fair that's reported on engagement zone that they need help, and they could sign up that way. And so what's really great about the engagement zone is that any person that's using the engagement zone can download their volunteer resume, and it would showcase like, hey, this is verified, right? It's all in one place, connected, right? They serve, they track their hours there, and the hours are also approved there by community organizations. So they could technically use that form to show to their faculty member, right? I did go out and do this particular activity. I hope that helps, Monica.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Monica. We have one question in the chat, Estela. Will staff be able to volunteer for MLK Day of Service in January 2026?
So one thing, like I mentioned earlier, the Office of Community Engagement, right? We don't do all the community engagement. Every single office, department, college, school has their own way that they are doing engagement with the community. And so the MLK Day of Service, and maybe we have some of our CSI members here. I know Juan Pablo was there earlier, but I don't know if Ashley's on or anyone from CSI. I'll say that every year I volunteer for MLK Day of Service, and it's part of my team's service activity for the semester. So I've just always reached out to then Ashley, now it's Angela and Ashley, right, to say, hey, I'm interested and I could serve as a site leader. They're always welcoming staff to help because, you know, their team isn't super large, and so sometimes they do need help. So I would say that I've always, as a staff member, participated. And so if you're interested, even if you want to serve like I do with my team, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great way. One of the days of service the day of service that we do through our office is Vaqueros volunteer, and that's usually in April. So it's towards the end of the semester. That one is open to all, right? All faculty, staff, students, and alumni. And so we do push that messaging out so that, you know, in the case you're not able to participate in other experiences, that is one where everyone is welcome. And I'm not that MLK isn't, because like I say, I've always done it. So, so yes, and follow up with CSI for sure. Thank you for sharing that, Crystal.
Awesome. Thank you. Are there any other questions for
Thanks,
Estela?
Emma. Well, if not, thank y'all so much. I will just put a tiny plug. Many of you are already doing this, and you may have seen the Adopt an Angel project, that campaign that we were showcasing. It's been on Messenger, it's been on Engage. Last year we had 39 departments participate. I don't know how many are this year so far, but we did partner with Salvation Army to get 75 children in the RGB community, both in Cameron and Hidalgo, where we were recruiting teams. If you haven't heard of it, we'll put the link in for the registration. We do have a few angels left that need sponsorship. So if you and your team are wanting to give back in any way during this time, like my team and many teams across campus will sponsor 1 or 2 angels, and then we all contribute to the wish list. And it's just a great way to give back. And we will be pushing out, with the help of our student team, some volunteer opportunities to even sort gifts at the Salvation Army in continuation with that collaboration. But thank y'all so much, and I'll put that information shortly in the chat just in case you didn't know about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Estela. Okay. Well, if there are no further questions, we can go ahead and move forward with our agenda. Thank you again, Estela, and thank you to Lisa for your presentations. The next part of our agenda is the committee reports. I will hand it over to the Communications Committee. Dina Lopez? I don't think Dina is here today. Maria, do y'all have any updates?
Good morning, everyone. So the communications committee had a very successful month with our Halloween door decorating contest, as well as our individual, pair, and group costume competitions. We received a lot of great entries, and it was really difficult to choose a winner. But I do want to extend a big thank you to everybody that participated, those who helped with the judging, and those who also donated prizes. We really couldn't have done it with all of your support. We also continue working on updating our website, and we'll be working on a Thanksgiving social media message in the coming days. But that's it for us.
Thank you. We can go ahead and move forward with the Constitutions and Elections Committee. Yesenia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yesenia. I am with the Constitution and Elections Committee. I just wanted to share the website just so you all could follow me here. We already started the process on updating the names and adding the new names and updating the names of the current divisions to align with our current structures. The section that's going to be updated in the Constitution is going to be Article 5, and it's going to be Section 7 under the districts, in case you all are interested in going and seeing what our Constitution holds. This is going to be the section that's going to be updated. We are currently preparing these proposed updates, which will be submitted for approval. It does have to go by a simple majority vote of the standing members of the staff senate, so it is a little bit of a process, but we're already getting started. That's pretty much the gist of my updates on the report for our committee. I'm going to pass it over to Carlos Ayala with the Business Processes and Staff Support Committee.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to start by saying that I welcome everybody to contact any of your senators to submit any suggestions that are out there. You do have an ear, you do have a voice, and you do have representation, and we are being listened to. So please continue to send your suggestions to any of the senators. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Jake. It could be anybody. They will be brought to my committee, and we will address those as they come forward. Right now, we have no update on the wellness release time. We're still waiting for a response from the higher echelons, but we are working on two different matters that came up. One of them is a transportation schedule that was brought up, and we're currently addressing that issue, and also the creation of a food pantry at the Harlingen campus. So as soon as we have any updates available, we will give them all to you. But like I said, so far we're doing good things. We are making a difference. Keep sending us your suggestions and concerns. That's all I got, Jake. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I have to pass it on to the Staff Success Committee. So.
Thank you so much, Carlos. So Staff Success Committee did get to meet in the last couple of weeks. We are already discussing Employee Appreciation Week planning, and so we do have the confirmed week, which is the March 2nd through the 6th. We'll be working with our great collaborators at UMC to get spaces solidified and verifying, event and site logistics. We'll also be working with our e-board, right, for budget and all of those good things to see what, we'll be doing for the coming year. Aside from that, we're looking forward to continuing that collaboration with UMC and all of our staff success committee members. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody, for the committee reports. I'll now move to open the floor for any public comments and questions.
If anybody would like to make any public comments or questions, the time is now. You can post them in the chat. You can unmute yourself and speak to the group. It's entirely up to you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes. The UTRGV Distinguished Artist Series presents Mariachi Mariposas in Concert. This was put in the chat by Elizabeth Salinas for everyone to go see. Yes, Mr. Salinas.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to remind anyone out there, as employees of UTRGV, tomorrow there will be a webinar, Explore UTRGV's graduate programs with UTRGV employees. This is where if you have ever wondered or contemplated a master's or a higher program with UTRGV, there's going to be a webinar from 12 to 1, and they're going to go over, offerings, different programs, admissions requirements, deadlines, financial aid, and more importantly, the assistance, including our employee tuition assistance program. So as you may all know, after a certain amount of time that you're working here, you all qualify for tuition assistance, and I'm saying that because I've been here 6 months and I still don't qualify yet, but I'm going to go and learn to see how I could qualify. But for those of you who've been here already, please take the time if you're interested in the master's program, and at the same time, the tuition assistance program to learn more about it. It'll be tomorrow from 12 to 1. It'll be a webinar. I think it was posted in one of those chats, informations that go out to you all. So I encourage you all, go there, click on join the webinar so you could register, or if not, I'll try to put it here on this chat. But thank you all so much. Go Vaqueros.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas.
So I just wanted to share the email that Athletics sent out today to all employees and staff. Today at 6:30 in the Field House in Edinburgh, there's a $5 faculty and staff tickets for the women's basketball game versus Houston. So go out and support our women's basketball team.
I put the link in the chat as well.
Thanks, Crystal.
Get your tickets.
Hi, everyone. This is Edna Zambrano. The Student Union is going to have a first-time holiday market for all of our Vaquero clubs, which is our student organizations. They're going to be out here selling at the Edinburgh Student Union Chapel lawn on December 4th. So bring your money, bring your cash app, come support our student organizations. For most of them, this will probably be the last fundraiser of the semester, so come help them out.
Awesome. Thank you, Edna. Okay. Any last public comments or questions? No? Okay. If there are any further public comments or questions, we'll now move to make a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the Staff Senate General Meeting for the month of November.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? All those in favor, please state aye in the Teams chat. All opposed and any abstentions?
Thank you, everybody. The meeting adjourns today at 9:56 in the morning. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you all. Y'all have a great rest of your day.